everybody? It's the homie Truth Teller, the street reporter. Remember, I've been giving you updates on FBG Duck. Been a lot of shit. A lot of people been talking about this case. I wanted to give you the real. That's why I kept updating this every day. Because there was a lot of information in that shit. You know, the feds claim Duck lost just like Al Capone style. Downtown, where a lot of rich people be at. A lot of hood niggas came through and blah, 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 type of shit. And I ain't gonna lie, you know, Duck was strong in my opinion. If you look at the paperwork, he was hit like 16 times, and we all seen him on video. He was still fighting for his life, you know. So it seemed like he was very hard bodied. This is not really a board video, but I do got some information I want to bring to you guys, because there's been a lot of talk about the suspects. A lot of people ask me, Truth, did the police get everybody right? You know, because I end up telling people, you know, I got some information. The streets be talking. Some people said Los, you know, Los wasn't a part of this. Some people say Los Ayers was a part of this. Some people say none of them was a part of this. Some people say they all was guilty. That's not on me to judge, you know. I'm just here to bring the news that's covered up. Hit the like button. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. When you hit the like button, it helps with the algorithms. A lot of people be able to see it. I think Duck a legend. We need a lot of people to see this video, because they kind of end the rumors and put the rumor videos at the bottom and the real videos at the top. So it helps when you hit the like button. You know, Los is the topic. People be saying Los ain't had nothing to do with this, if they all had something to do with this, because it's all under allegedly again. I don't want to be the one to stamp nobody's life sentence, you know, even though we see the information. Just because the feds say shit don't mean that it's 100% true. Now, it don't mean that it's fake. I'm just saying we gotta let this shit play out. That trial is in less than like 50 days. I believe like a month and a half is coming in October, early October. A lot of people talk about Los. You gotta remember, I think a lot of this rumors came because, you know, Los' lawyer, his lawyer actually said, look, Los Munna, okay? That's what we're gonna talk about. Los Munna, okay? He's one of them O Block 6, okay? The feds claim his car was used in one of the killings of FBG Duck, okay? But when you look at the paperwork, it clearly says Muwak and another man exited the vehicle and shot at Duck. Then it says C-Thang and C-Murder exited another vehicle. It speaks on Kenny Mack not getting out the vehicle shooting. But one thing I noticed is it spoke on everybody's name but Los. Not saying it didn't identify him, but it spoke on everybody's name but Los. Even though it did say Muwap and another man, which I believe is Los, because they say Muwap was in the car with Los. So I believe that, according to the paperwork. I could be wrong, but that's what the paperwork said. When I look at the homework and see when they speak on the surveillance footage, people running up the stairs and running out of O Block, it speaks on everybody's name, a lot of those guys, but it don't speak on Los' name, okay? Even though the feds say his ass was there, he had something to do with this, that's what the feds say. According to Los' lawyer, he said, just because you buy a car don't mean you guilty. He says, just because you buy a car doesn't mean you guilty. Something like that. He said something like that. Now that's strong language, because the feds is claiming they got POD readers and surveillance footage and camera footage and police license plate readers and all kind of shit. They say that this car was there. This car pulled up in front of Dolce Gabbana and blah, 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 blah. That's what the feds say. So I don't know if they denying the car. He said just because you buy a car doesn't mean basically guilty. Then he also says, you know, Los is a guy who works, he has kids. Then he says something that's very strong in the paperwork. He says something like, when this murder was happening, Los could have been anywhere. Los could have been home, Los could have been this, okay? So he's basically saying, you know, Los could have not been there. It's a possibility that Los wasn't there. We just gonna put a WT. So he's basically saying Los wasn't there. He was saying basically, you know, just because you seen the car there, you know, just because you seen the car pull up and people hop out and say blah, 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 don't mean that he was one of the ones in the car, even though it's registered to him. That's what he's saying. So, in my opinion, it kind of feels like he's basically saying, somebody used Lowe's car. I believe that's what his lawyer is saying. His lawyer is basically saying someone used, Lowe's car. And we ain't seen too many self-defenses. This is like one of the only self-defenses we've seen so far. We see the state case. This is one of the self-defenses that we finally see one of these guys' lawyers are speaking out. It kind of seemed like they're saying that somebody used Lowe's car, to commit, you feel me, FBG duck murder. That's what I believe is basically in this whole thing. When you look at the paperwork, you look at all the statements, this shit getting deep, this shit getting tough by the second, I'm not gonna lie, when I looked at that, I thought that was very strong because, now don't get me wrong, remember, when you in the courtroom fighting for your life, your lawyer come up with all kind of angles and all kind of shit, to prove doubt, all kind of shit to make sure they can try to get you home. So, I don't know if this like on some telling shit or I don't know what this is. I don't think this that. I think this a guy fighting for his life, facing life sentences inside of prison, and I think they got an opportunity to fight for their life and try to come home, if you ask me. But Lowe's lawyer is saying, just because that fucking car was there, don't mean Lowe's was there. And in my opinion, I think that's very strong with the feds saying they got his license plates, and it catches him riding all the way there, and even pulling up in front of Dolce Gabbana with the, pulling up with the blink and shit like that. It's saying that, so that means I don't think they denying that his car was there. I think they're basically saying, because his car was there doesn't mean he was in the car. I think that's strong, man. Leave me a comment. Let me know what y'all think about this whole thing, man. I might put some clips of that paperwork in the statement that his lawyer had said, so y'all can see this is really real. But I think this is getting deeper and deeper and deeper. In my opinion, it seemed like this murder was so rushed. People ran to do this shit so fast that, it was kind of clumsy. But the feds is alleging that the people who were clumsy is the O Block 6. And Lowe's lawyer is claiming that, his car might have been there, but Lowe's wasn't in it. What y'all think about that? Leave a comment. It's the homie True Teller Street Reporter. Blah, blah.